NECRONS! Hi guys, Mike speaking and welcome to the video where I'll be showcasing you my entry to IDIC Beer's 2019 Terrain Square competition. It's coming right up. Now I'd gathered together two Necron monoliths that were second hand and weren't going to be used by anyone. I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to make a Necron themed gaming table. Now this is the first bit of terrain I've built for the line of sight blocking competition. The walls of this were just made out of the Necron monolith wall sections and stuck together with bits of plastic yard on the top to form a roof and a couple of shapes there. Now, as you can see, next to a Space Marine, it's going to be easily big enough to hide a few of them behind. If we were to stick a Rhino behind it, if you're up close, you can easily see there's a Rhino there. If you're a bit further away, you may be able to see it around the corners. If we put the Rhino in front, that's the size we're looking at. This is the second bit of terrain that I've made for the line of sight blocking competition. The main whole of it was made out of an old sweet box that I had lying around, just collecting spare bits of Warhammer in. You can see we've got the Necron monolith door here. We've also got one of the holders for the gems, and we've got one of the spines from a Necron monolith. Added to this, I've put a plastic card rim along the edge, some of the walls and across the top. I've also piled up some sand across one edge of it to make it look like it's still half buried. Now, let's do the test of getting a model behind it. You'll know the size of the Necron door means that we can get a Space Marine there easily. And if we do the Rhino test again, you can see there's a Rhino behind it, and if we could come down to the Space Marine height, you can't see that Rhino. Lovely. Now this is the last bit of terrain I'm entering into the Terrain Square competition. As you can see, it's a Necron monolith still buried in the sand. I achieved this effect by just removing the base plate of the monolith and cutting a slight angle out of the walls to give it a slanted look when it's based. You know from the size of the monolith that you'll be able to hide a Rhino easily behind it, and it will block a line of sight perfectly, even for bigger things. Now that I've shown you what I'm entering into IDIC Beer's Terrain Square competition, I'm also going to give you a sneak peek into other bits of terrain I've made for this fantastic gaming table. Now this bit of terrain has just been made from a Necron monolith spine and several side sections from on a monolith. I've based them all up to make it look like there's some sort of machinery stuck underneath the sand, ready to be discovered. This piece of terrain is just the BFG from the Necron Doomsday Arc kit, half buried at an angle beneath the sand. Here we have a Necron gun emplacement. This was just made by taking the top section of a Necron monolith, where the crystal normally sits, adding some plasticard, and then a big gun from one of the Necron tank kits. And you can see it makes a perfect turret. Here we have a Necron platform rising out of the ground. This was just made with the base plate of the monolith that I used earlier buried in the sand on top of some cardboard and plasticard to give it some height. Now I really wanted Space Marines to be able to shoot over the top of this, so that when one is stood on the other side he can still raise his bolt gun over and shoot past. Here we have a Necron building sunk into a hill. This was just made out of the four corners of a Necron monolith base plate stuck together and stuck on top of a foam hill. Here we have the final piece of terrain from my Necron board, and perhaps my favourite bit. This is an NG core inspired by the Dawn of War game, and it is made out of just the four tops of the Necron monolith kit. How far does it go down?